Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
And we are back. I hope you had enough time to get your coffee or your orange juice and come right back with us, or to even call somebody and tell them to tune in. And you can call in at area code 313-868-4336. 868-4336. The numbers roll over, right?
Yes. Well, actually, the graphic is up, so the numbers are at the bottom of your screen now. So feel free, because I think that what this brother Kari Frazier is doing is very interesting. So we're going to get into the cost of it, but first, I was saying before the break, we want to know how arts, news, business, etc. Are part of DetroitisDifferent.com.
Oh, in different ways. Different podcasts offer different information. As I said, Henry Tyler was one of my first guests on the Detroit is Different podcast. I was like the anchor podcast for everything. And he has one of the most listened to all of those early episodes. So Sharon McPhail, Henry Tyler, Malik Yakini. It was some interesting interviews early on. And that's blossomed to right now we have a podcast called My Natural Hair. My Natural Hair talks about the natural hair experience. So a lot of what you would like to know to upkeep for natural hair. One of their most recent episodes is about just preparing for the fall with natural hair. So if you have locks or growing locks, or if you have wash and go styles, what you need to do in preparation for the winter season. My Natural Hair will be doing a natural hair show for the festival. So that natural hair show will be showcasing natural hair stylings. Fluent, or Joe Fluent Green, will be the host of that. And it will be interesting. LaDonna Marquisha of Hair Goals 313 are the hosts of the My Natural Hair podcast, and also will be curating and directing this fashion show, hair show, that will feature natural stylings. So that's one. Ask Jennifer of All Things Detroit, which is a grand event that takes place in Eastern Market, one of the biggest marketplaces in Eastern Market. Anytime is also one of the podcasters connected to Detroit is Different, and she highlights a lot of small business and entrepreneurship, many different topics, from Black women in entrepreneurship to leaving your job and starting your own business, to different things such as staying in business and how to have a good offering when you do vend at an event. These are all topics that are discussed when you listen to the Ask Jennifer podcast. And other podcasts are, there is Unicorns Are Real. Unicorns Are Real is something that I guess you would say from a millennial spin. Both the hosts are graphic and visual artists, and as visual artists, they have their own take interviewing other artists. So they have a mix of segments. It's one of our podcasts that is growing and growing. They'll be doing a 2000s party for this event. So that 2000s party is something that if you're my age, it's like, man, people doing 2000s parties. But if you happen to be 22 or 23, you wanted to party but couldn't get to a party because you were too young. So this gives them the opportunity to, I guess, wear their tall tees and jersey dresses and baggy clothes and whatever they feel their interpretation of the 2000s was. So this is a mix of what's happening at Detroit is Different.
Now, a follow-up question. How does a person who wants to become a part of DetroitisDifferent.com, I guess, you know, they have a topic, subject, or area that they're good at. How do they become a part of, or can they become a part of it?
Yeah, we're always looking to expand. One of the things about expansion is capacity and us taking care of the workflow, because that does have a lot. You know, the more we have so many different people and so much programming, keeping it up, making sure that we keep the studio up to par as well, it can be a lot. But reach out to me. Reach out to me at info@DetroitisDifferent.com, info@DetroitisDifferent.com. Send me an email, and I'd be definitely willing to sit down and talk to you. I have some different tools, whether you choose to start your podcast yourself individually or start with other networks. It's a phenomenon across the world right now, but especially the nation. Almost everybody has a podcast, and I do think that there's space for so many more voices. I don't think that just because there are so many, it should stop you from wanting to express yourself and having your own platform to share what you have on your heart and your mind.
Now, another follow-up, I'm going to have a million of them, I guess, but are the shows archived? So can a person go on and then say, I missed the show back in July or whatever? You know, are they archived, I guess, under title of whatever the podcast is, and then, you know, the date or whatever?
And that's what I think people love about podcast content. It's the audio version of YouTube, I guess. That's the best way to put it. Okay. So, you know, the information, as they say, is evergreen. And evergreen meaning that it is for everlasting and it's up for forever. So the interview I did with HT or Mr. Tyler was in 2014, and it is up today. Okay. And it's a very interesting interview where I learned so much more about his background, his history. If you ever were wondering, like, the guy that when people say HT and want to know a little bit about him, you can go to DetroitisDifferent.com, or you can just search the podcast. You can say Henry Tyler Podcast, and it will show up. Wow. And he shares the story of how he got started, how it all kind of came together, how the idea of really it kind of came together from an arcade, if I remember correctly, where he was working with RJ, and then it's like, okay, let's advertise what's happening with the arcade, and that blossomed into television, and then that blossomed into what has been a broadcast, I don't even want to say career, but a broadcast center and hub for so many people connected to and coming through the city of Detroit and Highland Park for generations.
You have to say one thing, R.J. Watkins and HT are part of Detroit history, a beautiful part of Detroit history. We talk about GPR and other things, but we have to look at the people on an individual basis too. So I have to happen to say, matter of fact, I'm going to be researching HT because he's going to mentor me on some other things anyway. Okay. So it would be good to be able to just kind of know what brought him along, because there's a certain love that comes with it. Now, in terms of the event, we want to get like ticket prices. How can people become a part of it? You know, it's between the 25th and the 27th. So how are the ticket prices and other things set up?
Okay, well, the night of events that are paid, that's Saturday night, October 26th. There will be 5 different events that night. So that night, it will be $50 for all the events. Then there will be free events. So Friday night, we open with the think tank discussion about how culture is offered in the city of Detroit. I believe that there are 4 components of offering culture. I believe that's the facilitator and also the people appreciating it. So that breaks down into a venue where the culture is given. That is also the performer or the provider, the artist, where it may be for culture, and then a promoter, and also the audience. All of those parties kind of need to be on the same page of the experience that we want to experience. And this discussion will really explore a lot of what have been the best experiences you've had in the city of Detroit and even outside the city of Detroit when it comes to artistry being provided to you. What does that look like? How does that feel? And that will be the first event. That's a free event. That will be Friday, October 25th, 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. That's a night. And Saturday, as I said, there will be the workshop from 1 to 3 about how to tell your story with today's technology. You don't necessarily have to come in yourself and say, I'm going to walk out being a whiz. The idea of this is actually how to work with people such as myself, how to work with a creative, how to work with a graphic designer, how to work with a videographer, how to work with a social media influencer, as they call them, or a social media whiz, so you can get your story told. There are many neighborhood associations right now that probably have, grandmothers and grandfathers that are saying, I'm going to have my grandson come and assist our organization to get this information up on the internet. And then the information goes up on the internet and it's hashtag this and hashtag that. And it's like, okay, our audience is kind of people that are in the age range of maybe 30 to 50 and they don't even know what you just put up and how the information looks.
Right.
So how to make amends and use today's tools, but still convey your message where it still doesn't seem antiquated either. Because also we've seen it done the other way, where it's like hashtag come, hashtag to, hashtag this event, and that's not the way to connect either. And then the paid events will be a mix of different events. There will be the My Natural Hair Show. There will be a game show called What the Text from our group text podcast, where you can kind of guess what the text interpretation means. It's a Jeopardy style game show. There will be a comedy show featuring Coco and also Just Niche. I'm Scared of Detroit. I've done it before. I haven't done this in a couple of years now. And there will be I'm the Rapper, She's the DJ, an all-women hip-hop concert provided through Piper Carter, who's one of our podcasters and known from We Found Hip Hop, and just an artist and photographer herself. And then the 2000s party. Then there will be a day full of podcasting Sunday, October 27th. That's free. So you can witness a mix of 15 different podcasts from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock and what happens, and just be there to ask questions and just meet people and meet the podcasters. And this would be the best day if you're interested in getting a podcast yourself to come and meet people. That's a free event all day. That is the festival.
Now, I guess the finer details will be on the DetroitisDifferent.com.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just want people to be aware of that, so that, because I'll definitely be looking it up. Now, when you mention storytelling, so like, okay, I write, I've done, lyrics, raps, things. So are there going to be pointers? This will be on Saturday, I take it, right, where you do the storytelling. You give people a background understanding of storytelling. So do you help somebody who maybe has some way they want to express themselves, but they don't know, maybe the fine details of, like, okay, say when we were in English class, you'd have the beginning, you'd have the center, and then you have the conclusion or the summary. So you'd have the introductory, whatever. I know there were like 3 stages in English. So will this, the Saturday event, help people who may have marginal talent, but they want to know what are the basics or fundamentals of really taking it a little bit further?
Well, it's really about using today's tools to convey what that story is. Storytelling has become, I guess, a buzzword when it comes to releasing any information. So you go to a lot of these organizations nowadays, people in my field of marketing, they'll say, we have a storyteller on our staff. And it's like, okay, why does ExxonMobil have a storyteller? So it's really just a catch-all buzzword for how to convey that message.
Okay.
Marketing. That's the
in
old
marketing,
word. That's the old word. Right?
Yes. So marketing, storytelling today is just like a sexier way of saying marketing. And we're talking about how to tell your story using a lot of different tools today, because you're conveying through a lot of messaging, as we even see right now. HPR, some people are watching it on Roku, some people are watching it through Facebook, some people are watching it through YouTube, some people are watching it through their TV, some people are watching it through cable. Like, so these are different messaging. And depending upon if you're watching this through Facebook, as it's tied to my Facebook page, it's a different experience when you're telling that story. And when we're conveying that story, because it's a different experience, you know, you have the live chat.
Right.
The live chat you sometimes need to be aware of, or what to go back when you replay this and re-air this. I want to take this interview myself and replay it and re-air it. So when I replay it and re-air it to my friends to say, hey, check this out, I'm talking about the event, they're going to start commenting. So this is just being aware of how you're delivering the story, because you can't just package the same information. It needs to be thought about how a person's going to receive it. Here's another classic one nowadays when it comes to delivering information, especially when we're thinking about Facebook. A lot of people receive Facebook through a phone. So if I'm looking at this on a phone versus if I'm looking at this on a computer or even a tablet, I'm receiving the information differently just due to the size of the screen. And the way that I'm going to look at the messages that go across. Right. So if you believe that more people will look at your message on a phone, that repackages the way you're delivering that message. And that's really what this is talking about in the workshop.
What about Twitter?
Twitter is another option of if you decide to tell stories that way. So, you know, what it should be, how you choose to tell that story, if you decide what will be your hashtag, why you would use a hashtag, just different ways to convey whatever your message is. And it could be something as, you know, and it's different ways you convey messaging. If you have a call to action like an event, that's different than a call to action for people to raise funds. That's different than raising awareness. All of these are different things to think about. I think photography is even something to take into consideration, and how you want that picture and image to be, because that can be impactful.
Okay, now, there are some people watching now who don't know what a hashtag is.
Okay, a hashtag is what I think for a long time was known as a pound sign.
Right.
So a hashtag is really a way that you can have a searchable option through Twitter, especially. It kind of began on Twitter, but now onto Instagram and Facebook, as Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same, that's kind of the same entity.
Okay.
But you can use a hashtag at the end of every post, kind of to be like a catch-all search or something that's shareable in reference to whatever your message is. So if we were to say hashtag Detroit, now you're going to connect yourself to different things into Detroit. If you say hashtag Detroit culture, that'll be a different catch-all. If you do a hashtag whatever your name is, it could be John Doe. Now you're beginning something around who you are and what you represent.
Okay. Can you put in hashtag, let's just say Theo Broughton, if she's already got that set up, so anybody who goes on Twitter, when say put hashtag Theo Broughton, does things pop up? Because I'm still naive about this.
Yes, it can be a way for things to pop up, but at the same time, it's also a way that if a person doesn't like you, they may put something up too. So you could put up like our current president. If you put up hashtag Trump, you're going to get definitely some people that support Donald Trump. You're going to get some people that don't support Donald Trump. You know, so the hashtag is a catch-all for basically using social media to filter and search what's related to what that topic is.
Positive and negative. You know, we always encourage people who are tuned in, particularly the ones who are 60 years of age and older, to go to Wayne County Community College, because they can take computer classes free. And they do have 3. That's Introduction to Computers. The second one is Navigating Computers. And the third has more to do with the coding and repairing and all of, you know, other functions of the computer. And we encourage them to do that, because when they have taken those classes, and we have you on as a guest, then they understand more of what you're talking about.
Well, that, and then also like what this workshop represents. So that's great what WC3 is doing. I'm offering 2 hours of information, and it'll definitely be some exchange and back and forth. But a full course load will provide more information. Sometimes it's just knowing enough so that you can work with others to execute it. Going in with the attitude, saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to learn this so I can do it myself. That's a lot. It may be overwhelming. It's kind of exploring and knowing enough so you can have a point of reference to guide who's working with you, who's facilitating something, who can deliver your message best, because this is very important. Sometimes the marketing people, the storytellers, the people on my end of the room, at my end of the table, are so focused on what they believe is working culturally for society that they neglect an organization's audience and point of view and perspective. And if that happens, that can be detrimental to where you're going. As we see right now, during this political campaign, a lot of the presidential Democratic nominees, I believe many are missing the mark on how to deliver that message.
Right, I agree.
The way that
It would draw supporters.
well, many things and supporters, but I was just saying that the way that Barack Obama in 2008 kind of had a couple of catch-alls of yes, we can,
Right.
and hope.
Right.
These are things that are marketed and crafted that are delivered of like, okay, quick calls to action to recognize the pulse of where things are going. Now, a lot has changed since then, but you need to have that rallying cry. And if you're just going on what is being told to you from someone that understands the internet, but they don't understand your audience, then it can be detrimental to what your point of view and perspective is.
It seems that the concern now, as it relates to politics, is how they can get the black community to support Elizabeth Warren, and black females in particular to support Elizabeth Warren,
Well, I
because
think,
she's gaining. So
I think it's every candidate is trying to get more black support.
Yeah.
And with
Yeah,
that,
but-
that clearly, I think when it comes to our community, that's a classic example of oftentimes how my Kari Frazier's perspective, a lot of the candidates look to gather black support when campaigning and really don't have a platform and either are ignorant and clueless to what the perspectives of black people are, or the people that they're following and listening to are taking advantage of that ignorance.
Yes.
Either way, it does not connect with the impactful message that's like, okay, this is what I'm representing, and this is how it will connect to the black community, as opposed to thinking to themselves, okay, let me start, let me eat chicken, or let me, dance, or let me, talk about how I grew up listening to, George Clinton. Like, let me actually have okay, this is my agenda, and this is how it relates to black communities.
Now we've got 2 minutes and some
goodness.
change. Yeah, time does fly. So I have Friday. You have the think tank from 6 to 8.
Yep.
Sunday you have the gathering from 2 to 7. Now, what's the times for Saturday? And is this for my benefit? You said there's like 5 different things. Are they
Yep.
going simultaneously, consecutively? Like one ends, and another one begins, so that way a person can enjoy all of them. Because I know you said that hip hop, women in hip hop would be one, natural hair would be one. So are they consecutive so that you don't miss one, or do they overlap?
Some overlap, some don't. So you can come and kind of try out a couple different things. I would say that the event Saturday, the Saturday night events, to truly enjoy it, I would try everything, because this is really giving you a peek into a lot of the subcultures in Detroit. This is a very cliquish town, and there's a lot of stuff going on that you may not necessarily be aware of. So come be ready. That'll be going from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. So if you're ready to stay up, I would say bring your heels and your sneakers because we're going to be rocking.
Now, again, give them the address and all the information as we kind of get close to the end.
Okay, definitely. Visit DETFEST.com. DETFEST.com. I guess like Detroit Fest, sort of DetroitFest.com. And 3000 Finkel, Detroit, Michigan 48238. And please reach out to me, info@DetroitisDifferent.com.
Okay.
That sounds so exciting. We're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it. And at the end of our program, I usually say, it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can, and we share it with you. And it helps us all make better informed decisions. On the second Saturday of October is our regular monthly meeting. The location is 12048 Grand River on the corner of Wyoming. We're there from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m. And we share additional information at this meeting, and we encourage you to bring information that you have researched as well. So we want you to tune in next week at 9 a.m. right here at WHPR, WHPS.
Yes, and I'd like to again emphasize DetroitisDifferent.com. Please visit that site because I'll definitely be doing that today. Also visit DETFEST.com for the schedule information for Detroit Festival. And also, I like to say, if you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished.
That's right. And you can also log on to hoodresearch.org. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Tune in again next week. Peace.